Hey guys, this is Blogger the Hut. In this video I'm talking about the 100 and I'll be looking at all the factions that exist outside of the coalition of clans. First are Nomadic Grounders or Wastelanders who inhabit the Dead Zone, which is outside Sancru territory, a barren wasteland. Anyone born with a birth defect or mutation was immediately cast out as they were seen as a stain on the bloodline. This initially seems like a cruel practice, but it was just an example of the harsh reality of survival post-apocalypse, as preventing mutations was essential for the survival of humanity. While they were considered outcasts, they were generally left in peace by the other clans as long as they stayed outside of their territories. Many nomadic grounders believed in the promise of a city of light and were among the first to fall under Ali's sway with her promise of a better life. The most notable of these nomads is Amori, a resourceful thief who hid her mutated hand to roam among Coalition territory. While she was initially loyal to Ali, she fell in love with Murphy and became an ally of Skycrew. After Prime Fire, it is almost certain that all the nomads were wiped out. The Reapers were a force of feral, cannibal warriors who captured victims and dragged them into their tunnels to eat them. While all this was true, as perceived by the other grounders, the reality was even worse. Reapers were captured by Mount Weather, who used a combination of drug addiction and psychological conditioning to force them to bring victims to them so that they could harvest their blood. The Mountain Men inhabited a government survival bunker in Mount Weather, which is a real-life facility. They initially believed themselves to be the sole survivors and set out preserving human culture. When they first encountered other survivors on the ground, they thought that it was survivable. A group left the bunker, but quickly succumbed to radiation sickness. When they realized the grounders were immune, a plan was set to capture them and drain their blood, which could be used to treat radiation sickness from containment leaks and also allowed the security forces to survive outside temporarily. In order to keep the grounders in check, Mount Weather used their extensive military facilities, including an acid fog and missiles, to keep the grounders at bay. When the 100 arrived, President Wallace rescued them from Tree Crew and brought them to the bunker. His hope was for the 100 to join their society and through interbreeding for the next generation to pass on their immunity. His son Cage, however, was impatient and wanted to harvest their bone marrow for an immediate cure. This led to Clark being forced to irradiate the entire facility and wipe out the Mountain Men, including those who had chosen to support Skycrew. After unleashing nuclear war, the rogue AI Ali founded a cult based on her virtual reality City of Light, calling followers to take a neural chip which allowed them to interact in the digital world. Once members had been chipped, Ali was able to control them by manipulating their memories and emotions. Members got others to take the chip, initially through persuasion, but later through torture or by threatening loved ones. The group grew in power and were eventually almost completely in control of Polis. Eventually, Clark entered the City of Light and found a kill switch which disabled Ali, but before she did, Ali revealed her knowledge of nuclear disaster and her intention to let humanity survive in digital form in the City of Light. Second Dawn were an extremist cult from before Prime Fire, whose leader built a bunker capable of sustaining hundreds of its members for years after a nuclear war. They were paranoid and even built a fake bunker for lower-ranked members who all perished inside. They even killed Becca Promheader when she tried to help them, but eventually they and the other survivors became the first grounders. The Eligius mining crew were prisoners sent to mine Hythalodium on asteroids in the mid-21st century. When the prisoners became sick, the company chose to abandon them, but the pilot disagreed and facilitated a mutiny on board. Dioza took over as leader, but the ship was damaged in the uprising, meaning it took decades to return to Earth, which they found destroyed and abandoned. After claiming Shallow Valley, they encountered Clark and later One Crew. The actions of the violent inmates put them on a war footing and caused division among themselves, with McCreary opposing Dioza. After several bloody battles, One Crew claimed the valley, only to lose it when a nihilistic McCreary unleashed a bomb. Newly elected leader Maddie chose to reconcile with the surviving prisoners and they all escaped together. And guys, that is it. We'll see what factions emerge on the New World in Season 6. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. You can also check me out on Twitter where I post a Trigetta slang word of the week. I'm on WordPress, but for now, thank you very much for watching.